Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Actors Waiting Room podcast. And this is the Christmas episode and the last episode of 2025. So, hello. This week, I don't think it's going to be a shock to anybody that we're going to be talking about Christmas related things, but we are also going to be talking about kind of what it means for an actor to go through the Christmas period, whatever challenges they may bring, which I think probably will bring quite a few this year, considering that the industry has been very up and down, I would say, the whole of the year. So, yeah, get comfortable, grab yourself a cup of tea, hot chocolate, mulled wine, or maybe something stronger as we wrap up 2025 and contemplate our life choices together. Okay, Christmas period. What does it bring up for an actor? It brings up, God, so many things. It brings up the, it brings up probably so many things. It brings up, have you worked for the entire year? Have you completed the goals that you set out in January 2025 when you thought the year was going to go swimmingly and perhaps it didn't, or perhaps it did? It was better than you expected it to be. I don't know, but I think as an actor, we always will weigh up when it hits Christmas, you always weigh up like what you have achieved within the year. And I think most people do that anyway. But because our careers are so up and down, we will often probably compare to what other people are doing on social media. Obviously, everyone does like a wrap up session of like what they've achieved that year and what jobs they might have booked, or just like maybe even some more personal things. I don't know, but we can't help but compare basically. And I was starting to do this. I was looking at, because people are already doing it, by the way, like people are already starting to wrap up their 2025. And it's interesting to me because kind of this year has been my first year where I didn't set any resolutions. And I know, that's probably really a big thing to admit, but I started this year thinking, do you know what? We're just going to see how it goes for a change. Like, usually I'm the type of person that will set goals. Usually I'm the type of person that does set very clear goals myself at the start of the year. I'm just one of those people that likes to plan and be organized in that vicinity. And this year I started the year and I went, do you know what? What would happen if I just took the year as it came? And because I already know my main goal is to keep acting, keep pursuing, even in December. Some people are still on or going on panto jobs, or I don't know, like corporate-y, like e-learning jobs for voiceover. Our industry does definitely slow down during this time, and I think that's also another point that I'll make a little bit later. But our jobs and our careers are very continuous. So I hope that we can try not to compare ourselves too much to what we've done. The other thing is that what reassures me at this time is that this is the only time in the year I truly believe that the industry settles down in terms of like agencies and casting directors will actually shut down for a Christmas period. Like, my agent has already emailed us lot being like, this is when we're going to be closing down the office for just over a few days over Christmas. I think take that as a relief to be, I don't need to keep going anymore. I think as actors, we keep going in terms of we think that we can never stop, we can never think we can never rest. And I found it really hard in the summer when I went to Italy to actually completely switch off, because I kept thinking, well, some people are still getting self-tapes. Should I be emailing people while I'm away? Sometimes you receive self-tapes while you're on holiday. I can, I think the industry, 98% of it will shut down, and take some relief in that, take some well-deserved rest in what you've been pursuing for this year and past years as well. But make sure that you take this time to rest if you can. I think it's always given me a sense of relief to know that most of the industry is shutting down, so therefore there really isn't many things that you can do at this stage. So take some comfort in that, 100%. The other thing that comes up a lot that actors dread is when they go home, possibly to families or whoever you spend Christmas with, and they are not creatives. you ultimately get interrogated or questioned or about your job and how it's been this year. And I think this is when it gets really hard not to try and compare yourself or reflect too much about your career within 1 year, because it's a really hard thing, because you've got relatives going, oh, so how's the acting going? Because this is probably like, for some families, Christmas is like kind of the only time where extended family get together, or they see friends that they haven't seen for a long time that aren't in this industry, because you're back at home or in your hometown or wherever you find yourself. So people always kind of want a wrap up of 2025. They want to know what you've been doing. And I think it hits home, because perhaps if you haven't worked this year, or you've only worked small parts, or whatever it is, you can't help but think that you need to elaborate on what you've been doing to the person that's asking that question. And I want to talk about this because for a while, I would go home and I would be dreading these questions. I would be going, oh God, they're just going to look down upon me. They're going to think, why is she still doing this career? It's not happened for her yet. She hasn't got her big break. You know, maybe she should give it up now. Like, I always used to think those questions would always be swimming around in my relatives' heads. But actually, when I sit back and look at it now, you know, they may have those opinions in their head, but actually you don't know. You don't know why they're asking that question. And I think it's really important to remind yourself that they're genuinely interested in a career that they know nothing about. And it's hard for us because we just eat, sleep, and breathe it all the time. And sometimes I get sick of talking about it. And there are things that get said within our industry over and over and over again, like, you know, how to enter an audition room, or why aren't you getting parts? And these same questions come up all the time to relatives, because they don't know. They don't understand why you can't just pick up the phone to the BBC or ITV and go, oh, I'm an actor, can I be in something? They don't really realise how that works. And we can sit here and we can get angry and a bit bitter or laugh about it, but they have no concept of this. And so sometimes I look at it as if to go, yeah, well, they don't have any idea. So they're asking the most obvious question, but to us it's like an attack on our career. But try and see it from their point of view. And what I also like to do in these situations is I always turn it back on them. I say, yeah, my year's been quite quiet, or whatever I've done this year, or yeah, I've been in a play this year. And they go, oh, where was it? At the West End? No, it was probably in, like, 1 year I did a play above a pub in a local pub in London. Sometimes you've been in bigger things like Nottingham Playhouse, but like most of the time they're quite small, niche little venues that you find yourself in. And because they haven't heard of it, they're like, oh, I've not heard of that. And immediately you take that as an attack, but they just haven't heard of it. So I really do think that you should, yeah, just try and see it from their point of view, because they're genuinely interested. And what you do to somebody else who's not in this industry is incredibly exciting. They find it fascinating because, one, they could never do it, because they would find the instability, the constant rejection too hard. And I've had many family members come to me and say, I don't know how you do what you do. And it's not in a way of going, you're silly for pursuing this. It's kind of like, well done, because that's brave to take this chance and to be in this constant state of, are you working? Are you not working? So yeah, try and see it that way. But what I love to do is, once I finish saying all of my spiel, I then will go, how's your year been? How's work for you? And most people actually go, well, nothing big's happened. I've just worked at the same company for yada, 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 like however long. Or they go, nothing much really. Or they're struggling for things to fill in that conversation as well. So it works both ways. I always find it really funny when they're like, oh, what do you do? And then you turn it back on them and they're like, because everyone kind of hates that question. Like, not just actors. Like, I feel like everybody within their own industry hates that question, because what they do day in, day out is boring to them, or they get used to that idea because it's what they do day in, day out. We kind of get a bit bored about talking about the actor jargon because we talk about it probably every day or every week or however. So push it back on them and see what they say, and get into that conversation. But also be confident, and it does have to come from you. You have to be settled in and confident, and just accepting the fact that, no people aren't sometimes going to get it. They're just not. But that has to come from you. And even if you don't feel confident, just bravely say, I've been quite quiet this year actually, but I'm working on this, and I will be working on something else. Because you are, because as a creative, you're always working on something. Like, I will turn around and say, oh, my year's been a bit quiet this year, but I've been writing a TV series with my friend that we're hoping to put on, or do whatever. Or you might be writing a play, or podcasting. I mean, I get lots of questions now about podcasting, and that's scary in its own right, and again, you get similar questions of like, who have you had on your podcast, or how many listenerships do you have? It will be the same in every industry, no matter what or where you are. So everyone does feel the same. So I hope that provides just a little bit of comfort. But the ultimate goal is really just seeing it through their eyes. Because someone said to me the other day, I was getting a bit frustrated. Like, sometimes I get frustrated with like my mum when she doesn't understand like certain, I don't know, like I look at her sometimes when she's on her phone and it takes her so long to do something, or she can't quite understand sometimes how certain technology works and things like that. But someone like reminded me the other day that they were like, they're experiencing it for the first time as well. And I was like, yeah, you seem to think that other people and other beings already know the ins and outs of what you do, or they have this, lifelong wisdom that you don't have yet. No, everyone's experiencing everything for the first time, just as you are. So maybe have a bit of patience, a little bit, with the people that are asking the questions. I know it's hard when they go, oh, my cousin's sister's dog has been in an ITV series. I can see if they can get you in. I'm with you there. But just laugh and just think, yeah, well, you don't know what this is like. And you can either do it two ways. You can either explain what the industry is actually like, and usually they're very interested. They go, oh, I had no idea that it worked like that. And you go, yeah, it is. Or you can just nod your head, agree, and go, yeah, I'll look into that. Try not to waste your energy on that. Use it as a time of just getting together with family, asking what they're doing, they're asking what you're doing, and let the conversation carry on. If it really gets that bad, grab the spirits, grab the wine, grab the Prosecco. You've got this, get through. Absolutely. Some of you, however, might be working over the Christmas period in panto. And I salute you, all to those actors that are, there's obviously the big pantos that happen on the West End, and in sort of regional bigger theatres, they have those as well. Well done to you guys. But there's also, people that are doing the rounds of like the schools. Sometimes people do work parties, and those jobs are, I would say, they're a little bit harder. You're doing the get-ins and get-outs. Get-ins and get-outs, if people don't know, are basically you drive the van that has the set in it with all your other actors. You usually go around in a band of about 4 or maybe 5. Sometimes you can do a two-hander to like care homes and schools. But you essentially drive around. One of you will drive. Most of you take it in turns to drive, to be fair. That usually is a requirement now for pantos and Christmas musicals or whatever it is that you find yourself doing. But they will essentially drive around from venue to venue. They will do the get-in, which is setting up the set, speaking to the people in charge, what's going to happen, how's the day going to run. They will set it all up, they will get ready, they will perform, and then they might do a Q&A maybe with like kids at the end of the show, or they do like a workshop, or they don't do that, they do their bows, they say thank you, and then they do the get outs, which is closing down all of the set, back in the van, all the costumes back in the van. The guys will then, or whoever's in the cast, will get back into the van, and they will drive off to their next venue or hotel or or digs, wherever they're staying. So it's a hard job. I really do salute those people that are doing it. And I do know that people have great time. They have a really sense of like teamwork, and they have a great they have a great time because they get to, play these very big exaggerated characters and do all these quite funny, and things like that always go wrong, and that's funny, and there's not as much pressure, I don't think, on those types of jobs. But it is hard, you're away from family, you're not seeing people around on Christmas Day and things like that, because you're probably staying in a hotel that's probably quite far away from maybe where you grew up, or whatever. um but yeah, if you're in those positions and you're maybe finding it a little bit harder to be away from everybody, stick on the podcast, stick on the good Christmassy podcasts that have like the quizzes in. Stick on the Christmas music, play games with each other. I'm a big fan of like card games and stuff in groups of people, or board games, but you probably won't be able to bring too much. So bring a pack of cards. Pack of cards for me is glorious entertainment for hours with people, especially people that don't really know that well, because like actors generally don't know each other before they get shoved on the road with each other for a long periods of time. Pack of cards, my friends. Pack of cards will sort you out. Look up some games if you don't know how to play card games. Honestly, I think it bonds people so much better. I love it. And actors love games as well. We do. We just love stuff like that. So, yeah, get those out, get the Christmas music on. Try wherever you are to set up a little Christmas home for yourself. Watch some Christmas movies together or alone. Take your own time, whatever you need. But yeah, well done to those guys. And also, there is other actors and creatives who are working in hospitality and retail, definitely. I'm trying to think anywhere else. It's mainly hospitality and retail, isn't it, over those periods of times? But yeah, I salute you to as well. Do whatever you need to get through the very busy Christmas period, because not everyone can go home and have time off during this time. So make sure you get adequate rest when you can. Really, that's my advice to you on that. Okay, so let's talk about some Christmas films. Love a Christmas film. I've already started watching my big list. Me and my partner will do like, we try. I don't think we've ever done it. I don't think we've ever completed this task. But what we try and do is from the 1st to the 25th, we try and watch a Christmas film every day. I think we've already failed this year. I actually do. I don't think we've given it a good go though. Last year we were terrible. We were really busy and we just didn't have time to. But this year we are trying. It's not every day, but sometimes, like yesterday, we did watch two in one day, which was fabulous. We watched Santa Claus 2, because we watched Santa Claus the first one the other night. We watched Santa Claus 2, and then we watched Spirited, which, if anybody hasn't watched that yet, please go and watch that. I think it's really good. Like, many of the Christmas films that are kind of being produced, like I don't know, in the last sort of like 5 years, maybe even 10, like for me, they've just not been as good as my original ones that I've grown up with. It might be just nostalgia, but yeah, they've just not been as good. But Spirited is a good contender. It's been added to our like Christmas list each year that we will now watch. Yeah, it's got Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell in a really sort of, it is funny. It's a funny musical based off A Christmas Carol, and it's really good. I think it's on Apple TV. I think that's where we watched it. But I also want to take like segue out of that. Obviously, I will watch Will Ferrell in absolutely anything. I find him hilarious. But the ensemble in that film are fantastic. Like proper, West End musical stars, or they might be Broadway stars. They are fantastic. The tap dancing, I will say, in that film, fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Yeah, the dancing's great. The singing from the ensemble cast is worthy of any West End Broadway show. Like, it's really good. And on top of that, it's funny. And it doesn't take itself too seriously. And that's exactly what I want from a Christmas film. We did start, I think the first film that we did start on, yeah, it definitely was Die Hard. We started off strong. And I know there's a debate, isn't there, whether it's like a Christmas film or not. For me, it's a Christmas film. Okay? It's not just set at Christmas for me. There are Christmas things interwoven into the film, which is when he sends one of the like, I think they're German, aren't they? I don't know if they're all German. I'm pretty sure they're all German. The baddies, they play like these German guys, Alan Rickman leading them up. One of them sadly dies within like the first sort of 20 minutes of the film. And it's where Bruce Willis goes, I now have a machine gun, ho, ho, ho. Hilarious, really, really good. But he dresses that person up, I think, in like a Christmas hat, like a Santa's hat and a Santa's coat. Maybe it's not a coat, maybe it's just Santa's hat. But for me, anyway, that's my justification for saying it's a Christmas film. Yeah, it's set at Christmas. It has that nice Christmassy feel, even though it's a lot of guns and explosives. But to be honest, okay, my argument on this is that Christmas films not only are set during the Christmas time and are Christmassy, but they're kind of epic. And what I mean by that is that whenever, like when I was at home, when I was growing up, epic films were always on at Christmas time. Like Harry Potter was on, Star Wars and all of that stuff was on. Doctor Who had Christmas specials. Like it was all kind of like epic stuff, and you were happy to watch like an action-packed film. This is my justification for Die Hard being a Christmas film, because it's epic, set during Christmas, and someone's dressed in a Santa hat. That's my justification for it. And Bruce Willis is fabulous in that. But we need to also take a side note for the limousine driver. I want to say his name is Argyle. Argyle? I might have got that wrong. But yeah, the limousine driver, he's comedy gold in it. Like, obviously Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, they're all lovely, great, fabulous. His little parts on the side, hilarious. Really, really good. Like top tier. I love him in that. He's great. And I don't think I've really seen him in anything else, but he's fantastic. Now, I could sit here and go through like all my ultimate favourite Christmas films, but I will only name a few for your ears because they're very standard. And I'll tell you why I love them, each one. Not that you've asked, but you're getting it. So I'm going out strong. Love Actually. The reason why Love Actually is such a great film is because it has, one, a top tier cast, two, a very good plot, and three, very naturalistic and not too cheesy. Very good Christmas film. Very, very good Christmas film. And I love Emma Thompson in it because of that scene. And I know everyone talks about it, but every year it's honestly one of my favourite scenes within film history. I'm not even joking, and people are going to laugh at that. But her crying on that bed listening to Joni Mitchell, I'm sold. I'm absolutely sold. I think she's fantastic. I think she's so good. And just also when she goes to Alan Rickman at the end saying, oh, you know, if someone brought a gold necklace and gave it to them and found out, you know, that big speech where she goes, is it love and a necklace? Is it sex and a necklace? Or blah, blah, blah. What, that whole speech that she says, fabulous, top tier. So that's why I watch Love Actually all the time. Jim Carrey's Grinch, that is on without a doubt each year. I love that film. That film makes me laugh so much. I think the dog Max in it is fabulous. I also just think Jim Carrey's commitment to that part in general is kind of what sells that entire movie. He's just fantastic in that role, and no one can tell me otherwise. And you know, there's been animations of the Grinch, but it's interesting to me that no one else has touched it, and I think, or remade it, and I think it's just because Jim Carrey does such a stellar job in it. I think he's fantastic, and it just makes me laugh so much. I've recently just listened to a podcast on Call Her Daddy with the girl that plays Cindy Lou. What's her name? Taylor Momsen, I want to say. I've probably butchered that. Fabulous. I listened to a podcast of Call Her Daddy with her on as a guest, and she talks all about how they made The Grinch. Go and listen to it. It's really, really good. If you're a big fan of that movie, which I definitely am. My next one is Miracle on 34th Street. Just amazing. I just think that, again, I think that film is not too cheesy. Some people might go against what I think, but I just think like the whole concept of like putting a Santa on trial to see whether he is the real Santa Claus or not, and the little girl in it from Matilda is just so good. But yeah, for me that absolutely warms my heart and is one of my ultimate favourite Christmas films. It makes me feel very nostalgic and very homey, and I think the film is wonderful because it's that idea of faith, of like in believing something that you can't always see, or just choosing to believe something because you believe in it. You know, like she chooses to believe that this man is Santa Claus. And I just think, and then including her mum as well, just like, yeah, I think it's just choosing to believe in something just for the enjoyment of it. And I think the film is just so lovely for that. It's really wholesome. And if you haven't seen it, like, where have you been? Because I actually have quite a lot of friends that have not seen that film. If you're listening to this, go and watch it. It's absolutely fabulous. I think it's so, so good. Other sort of newer films that have made it into my Christmas list is The Holdovers, purely because, okay, forgive me, it's quite arty. It's been filmed in a the cinematography is really aesthetically pleasing. Like, that's really my type of film. So it's a bit arty, but it also reminds me of like the Dead Poet Society, that type of grain, and also kind of a similar storyline, I suppose, of a teacher sort of being in charge of a group of boys at like a very sort of privileged school, but it's set at Christmas. There's a bit more to it than that, but I think it's quite a steady film, but I think it's beautifully shot. It's also got some really great actors in it that I absolutely adore, and they give that really sort of like warm, heartfelt feeling, but it's set and rooted in reality. And I think that's kind of why I love Love Actually as well. I've said that previously, but it's why it's set in reality. It's not too cheesy, and the acting's good in it. So that's definitely been added to my Christmas film list. Home Alone is my favourite, ultimate Christmas film. Like, if someone said to me, "What is your favourite film?" It's Home Alone. 1 and 2. Sorry, the other ones, but 1 and 2 are my absolute favourite. The first is the ultimate favourite, even though the second one is very good for a sequel, I will say, and I love the fact that it's set in New York because I love New York. But the first one is just, it's just top tier. There's nothing wrong with it, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with it. It has some good lines in it. It's got some great actors in it. The Wet Bandits are just awesome. When I was working in a retail store, they sold Wet Bandit t-shirts for for children, which I did find a little bit odd. But it had like their like police photo, and they were holding up their plaque in prison, and it said Wet Bandits on it. And I was like, I really want that t-shirt. And I was trying to fit into this child's t-shirt, and it just wasn't happening. And I'm still looking for one on the internet, but I can't really find the right one. But when I do, I will be having a Wet Bandits t-shirt because it's iconic and it's amazing. It's so, so good. But yeah, that is my ultimate favourite Christmas film. And I usually hold off and watch that one closer to the time, before, like closer to the 25th than with the other ones. I think that's the same with The Grinch as well. Like, I watch that very close to like Christmas Eve because it's just, I don't know, it's weird how everyone has these kind of little simple traditions that they do with their Christmas films, or even decorating their tree and things like that. One Christmas film that I watched last year was Carry On, and I don't mean the Carry On films as in made in the, was it 1950s to like, they made loads of Carry On films, didn't they? Well, they started to make them in the 1950s. I think they did wind up being made all the way into the 90s, actually. It's not that one, I'm afraid, if anyone's listening and hoping for that. Not that I think that my audience probably would, making that connection, I think. But yeah, Carry On with Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman, I want to say. I thought that was really good. Like, if you need a film that is kind of on a similar vibe to like Die Hard, that you want to watch with like maybe your dad and your brothers, I think that's a really good contender. I think the plot's really good in it, and it's kind of got, again, that similar feel. Taron Egerton basically plays like a security guard within an airport, and lots of things happen during it. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I think that's a really good contender for like, particularly if you have to watch something, or say you have to, if you are wanting to find something that you and your dad, or you and your brothers, or maybe your mum, I don't know. But it does kind of feel like that type of film. Like, sometimes it's really hard to pick a family movie that everyone's going to enjoy. I think that will tick most of the boxes if you have a male-dominated family. But, you know, I'm a woman. I did enjoy it as well. So maybe it's that. Who knows? Films that I am looking forward to watching as well over the Christmas period, or TV series, are obviously Stranger Things. I'm really excited for the ending of Stranger Things. Have watched the season 5 I think it's 4 episodes they've released already of season 5. Have watched those, enjoyed the whole series. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're gonna end this. And I know loads of people are like, oh, they've split up the last 2 episodes into 2 different parts and they're released on 2 different days. I think I've got that right. And I know some people are a bit annoyed about it, but for me, it brings back such a nostalgia of like Christmas. Like, you used to always wait with the I used to have Time magazine, I think, like the magazine that would show all the different times for all the different films that would come on the TV. And like, it brings me back to that feeling of like waiting for your next episode. Like, I was a Doctor Who fan when I was younger, and you used to wait on Christmas Day for their Christmas Day episode. And I love the fact that Stranger Things are doing this. I think we should bring back a little bit more of that, because although I love to binge a TV series, and I'm a very impatient person, I don't like waiting. There is something lovely about making people wait and building this kind of what's the word, like this kind of tension towards an ending that hopefully should be really epic and big. I'm really looking forward to that. The other thing that is been added to the list that is a new film this year is Jingle Bell Heist with who's in it? Oh, Connor Swindles and Olivia Holt. I don't know. I don't know how it looks. Kind of like my type of Christmas film. It looks kind of funny. Yeah, it's a heist. I think it will be good. That's been added to the list, so I'm kind of looking forward to watching that and seeing what will unravel with that. Because I love Connor Swindles. If I'm saying his name right, I hope I am. He's fantastic. I've watched him in quite a few things now, and obviously I loved him in Sex Education. He's just a great actor. Oh, another thing as well I've got to say about Jingle Bell Heist is that it's got Lucy Punch in it, who is also hilarious. She is the one from Hot Fuzz, the one that plays Juliet in Romeo and Juliet, the Amdram production in Hot Fuzz that they go and watch. I think she's really, really funny. And she's also really funny in Motherland, if anyone's not seen Motherland. That's a really good series and a really good, a really good British series, sitcom that's on the BBC. It's really, really good. And she's in that as well. She plays the most infuriating woman known to man, but I think she really is very talented. But she's in that as well, so I have high hopes for it. I really do. Another one I'm really looking forward to is Ella McKay. Ella McKay. Kind of looks to me like an early 2000s film. I think that's out on the 12th of December. That looks fantastic. That's got Emma Mackey in. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis in. It's got Woody Harrelson in. I love him. I love Woody Harrelson. Like, I find him so funny. I love him. I loved him in Zombieland. I just love him in anything. What's it? Friends with Benefits he's in. He's really funny in that as well. Just great. But what I love about it is that it feels like an Anne Hathaway early 2000s movie. Like, it looks awesome. We will see what that will bring. But yeah, it's not a Christmas film, but it's like a comedy American film that will be coming out on the 12th of December. Looking forward to watching that. That will be fantastic. The last one that I'm really excited to watch that's coming out this year is the new Knives Out movie. They're really good films. Like, when I watched the first one, I was a bit unsure as it started, and I was like, what is this? But I'm converted. I absolutely love them now. I've watched the first and second one. Now the third one's coming out. I think that comes out on the 12th of December as well. Lots of stuff coming, which is great. We're having a very good year, I think, for some films that are coming out later this year. We've got a lot of good stuff to watch, which I'm really pleased about. But yeah, really looking forward to the third one in that. I wonder if they will make it into a thing now where they just release it every Christmas. I don't know, but it's nice to know that something like that is coming on the TV again, because I'm excited. I really enjoyed both of them. The first one is probably still my favourite. Just the aesthetic of kind of like a Midsummer Murders or a Poirot is really good. And Daniel Craig, what a transformation for him to go into a completely different character that you would never put him in, because most people know him from playing James Bond, where this very suave person, confident, arrogant man, and now he's playing a southern detective that you just know he's having all types of fun with that role. He's really eccentric in that role. It's great. Really, really looking forward to that. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about now is going to be, we spoke about earlier in the episode about how to think back in a positive way about your career maybe, or what you've done this year or whatever. Sometimes it doesn't have to always be about your career. I will say, like, it can just be about, what your life has been like this past year. I think as actors, we put a lot of emphasis on basically looking back on the year and just focusing on the acting, because that's like the main goal and it's the main thing that we're trying to strive for. But look back at every aspect of it, because I can assure you there'll be more there that will make you happy and proud that you did, that have influenced the way that you are now, that's happened. And yeah, and I have some questions for this to help you reflect positively about this past year that has happened. And these are something that you have learned, something that surprised you, what you want to leave behind, what you want to take forward with you. I think they're really nice, positive questions, because there will be some things that you want to leave behind, but there's going to be a lot that you want to bring forward with you. Yeah, so give that a go. Maybe that will make you feel a little bit more positive about your year. Try not to spiral and go downhill about, what have I achieved this year? Is this the right path? Am I on the right path? Is this ever going to happen for me? Get yourself out of that horrible hole that you keep digging yourself into. Answer these questions, but answer these questions looking back at the entirety of your year that's not possibly just related to acting. If it includes acting, amazing. But it doesn't have to include acting. There's lots more that's happened in your year that's just your acting career. So I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I know this is probably quite early to be saying Merry Christmas, but it is the last podcast episode of 2025. I hope that whatever you find yourself doing on Christmas Day, that you enjoy yourself, that you have a lot of rest, that you, just find some enjoyment throughout the Christmas period, and make sure that you're well rested, because we're going to go again in 2026. So Merry Christmas, and I will see you in the new year.